Hello, how are you? I hope that you're doing well. I want to say welcome to you or welcome back to you to the channel Uterine Health. Let's talk about it. I want to say thank you to everyone that watched the initial overview of my 2025 uterine health journey that I posted. I want to say thank you so much for watching the video and commenting and everything. And I want to say thank you so much for your encouragement and things of that nature. I want to say if this is your first time joining us, I would highly encourage you to go back and look at that initial video. It might be above this video or might be below. I'm not sure of the layout just yet, but I do encourage you for take the opportunity to go back and check out the overview. I do want to go ahead and once again say that I appreciate everyone that subscribed. I was so excited. I was like, yay, I got a subscriber. I thank you for liking the video. I thank you for commenting. I definitely thank you for sharing the video. I appreciate you being a part of this journey recap that I am on a journey to share with you. And hopefully, this will give you some level of encouragement to start a conversation. And most importantly, if you are a woman, you can stop and put yourself first and make an appointment and go see a doctor. I want to do in the next couple of videos, step-by-step videos of exactly the entire journey that I went through with my uterine health. Because I want to give as much detailed information as possible. Because maybe whatever landed you on this channel, you might be in search of something. It may have been pushed out to you. I don't know. But I want to give as much detailed information as possible because I think that that could be helpful to someone. So I'll be talking very plain and simple and as transparent as possible. If that's I hope this of help to you. That's what I really want to say. So because when I go online, if you see me looking down, my notes are here. I'm still learning this, thing. So I still want to have this conversation. So if you see me down, I have my notes to keep me on point. I want to say too that one of the reasons for me sharing this video is in my search, I saw a lot of videos from medical doctors and institutions, which I thought was fantastic. And I so appreciate them being there. But to me, there's nothing like when you're on a journey and you're in search of something, hearing from a real life person that had their own journey. And while yours might be different, but it might be one and the same, it still, I feel, might be a little more encouraging, especially to hear from a woman, from a patient, and as someone that, went through it. So that's why I thought I would just go ahead and do like a step by step, along the way of what happened. So, with that being said, I'm going to say my disclaimer. And my disclaimer is I am not a medical professional, nor am I a doctor, and I do not work in the medical field. I am a woman sharing my uterine health journey as an encouragement for women to start having the conversation about uterine health. So, uterine health, let's talk about it. So again, if I'm looking down, it's because I have my notes here and I'm going to figure out how to make it where I'm not looking down all the time. So in the beginning, which would have been around January 2025, I noticed some spotting of blood, which I found to be extremely alarming as a postmenopausal woman and a woman that haven't had a cycle in God knows when, right? So when I went back to look at my notes to share this information with you, my note said it started on January 7th and it continued through the 14th of January. And the first day, my symptoms were the exact same symptoms I would have when I did have my menstrual cycle. So that was kind of like strange to me. I'm like, why is my body saying this to me? I don't have cycles. And then that's when I noticed the blood. So my symptoms were slight cramping, a discomfort, nothing so painful that I would need any kind of medication or anything like that. And so it was just like a little spotting. It wasn't a heavy flow. It was just light. It was not a flow where me personally, in my experience, where I would need a heavy sanitary napkin. It was something that I could use something a little thicker than a panty liner. I forgot what they call those. They're not panty liners, but there's something a little thicker than that. But a panty liner would have been just fine as well. And so that is when I noticed the spotting of blood. So those were my symptoms that started me on my uterine health journey. And I just want to say this: all of our bodies are different as women, and so are our menstrual cycles. So I've heard of some women that have had heavy cycles that have lasted for 7 to 10 days each and every month. That's their cycle. I've had some women and friends that I know, their cycle comes on and the pain is so excruciating to them that they need to be on medication. They're laying down. They're not able to function. It's just really not a good time for them. And then there's some women who have random cycles, right? They don't know when their cycle is coming. It's unpredictable. So that's why I said we're all different. And so for me, mine was always a light cycle, 3 days, maybe four. There was always a little slight discomfort, cramping, but that didn't happen even in the beginning of my cycle. That happened towards the late 30s, early 40s. I was like, what's this cramp stuff? So that's how our bodies are different. And although they have all these things out here that says your body should be doing this, I think that you can use those things as a guide because all of our bodies are different, and so it may not fit in that perfect mold of what a cycle should be or shouldn't be, or what your body as a woman should and shouldn't do. So I just wanted to make sure I was transparent with that part of it so you would know that part. So I'm also going to say this too. And if you see any type of blood, I think that is a strong signal that you should go to the doctor. If you are coughing up blood from the mouth, go to the doctor. If you are having such a heavy nosebleed that it won't stop, and you see blood clots, go to the doctor. If you see blood in your bowel movement, go to the doctor. If you see blood spotting from your vagina, go to the doctor. And don't hesitate, please. I really, really, really mean that. That is a strong signal from your body that something is going wrong and you need to have it checked out. So, getting back to me. The moment that I saw the spotting of the blood, I became concerned and I immediately sent a message to my doctor via the patient portal. Personally, I love the patient portal because you can send messages out to your doctors, your nurses. They can respond to you. There's so many different things you can do on the patient portal, but I do understand when people don't like to use technology, but I do enjoy the fact that they have a patient portal and I'm able to send message quickly to my doctor, because nowadays, I don't know how else would you reach your doctor, to be perfectly honest with you, the way that modern medicine is kind of set up in the hospitals and things of that nature. So, so in the interim of me sending my doctor a message on the portal and waiting for her response, of course, I went to the good Dr. Google, and it can land you to, WebMD. So, be careful when you're out there searching too. So one of the things I want to stress too, when you are out there searching and you're on your quest for something, you need to be as specific as possible. When I first entered my Google search, I did women bleeding or something like that. And so a whole lot of things came up. So I changed my search to women bleeding after 50. And then I did one of women bleeding after, postmenopausal. And I got a different type of result. And so when you're out there searching, because I think it is good to search, just don't go down a rabbit hole because it can really, kind of depress you. But some of the things I remember when I was doing my search, it did mention that the bleeding could be a sign of hormonal imbalance. It could be polyps. It could be fibroids. It could be uterine issues, and it could be cancer. I remember also it telling me that it can be colors. The spotting of your blood, it said it could be pink, gray, or brown. I do remember that. And they said you can have light spotting and light bleeding or super heavy bleeding. So that's why I said we're all different. But as you know, probably most people do, the word I stuck on was like, oh my God, cancer. And I was just already, like a mental wreck, right? Because one of the things that I do say that if I didn't say it earlier is that I'm just thinking about it, how my mind was at that moment, that, I had just lost a friend in December 2024. And here it is, not even a month later, I'm seeing and spotting blood. And then my other friend that died of and my friend in December 2024, she died from ovarian cancer. And so my friend from 2022, or maybe 2023, she died from endometriosis cancer. And one of the things I remember her saying was that she saw spotting of blood. So those things just came to my mind as I was doing my research, and I just was, I just wasn't, yeah, I just wasn't, yeah. Mentally, I'm just going to be totally transparent. I was like a mental wreck. Um, I just couldn't wrap my head around. I'm usually the person that's there for everyone else. I'm pretty much a healthy person, never go, rarely get sick or anything like that. So why is this happening to me? Should I be planning my funeral? Oh my God, I don't want to die. I have so many things I need to do and want to do in life. And, my friends that did get it and didn't survive, one died within 6 months of her diagnosis, the other died within a year of her diagnosis. And all this is running through my head, and I had yet to see my doctor. So I just want to let you know that your mind can take you there. But I want to say that I'm very grateful to be surrounded by powerful praying women. And they can really just help you kind of calm yourself down, because even as a believer, your mind can kind of go there. And you just have to kind of like center yourself and bring yourself back to like, hold on, let me put a pause before I'm, burying myself. Let me just calm down and wait to see, kind of what happens. And one of the things I'm very, very, very grateful for is that I have always been the type of person that have scheduled my doctor's appointments. If I've ever felt anything, I've always listened to my body and have gone to see the doctor. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very grateful. I'm just getting emotional thinking about it. I had already set up my annual exam. So this is happening in January, and my exam, if I'm not mistaken, was like the first week in February. And so just really grateful that it was already set up for the early part of the year. I try to make all of my appointments for any doctors that I need to see. I try to do it in the first 3 months of the year. That's just something that I do if I can do it. If you can get in to see your doctors and make it work that way. But, don't try to have a perfect plan. If you're not feeling well, go see your doctor. And I know a lot of times it's hard for us as women because, sometimes we're known as kind of complainy like or something like that. Especially I hear African American women get a bad rap in the hospitals, like, oh my God, there she is whining again. And sometimes they don't listen to us, they don't hear us. I'm talking about all women. And so that's why sometimes we just don't want to go, where sometimes we may not feel wanted or like people are listening to us. But please still try to go and advocate for yourself and go to the hospital. And I'm going to say that, once I saw the spotting of the blood and my mind is all over the place, I really wanted my doctor, when she got the message, to stop, send an ambulance over to my house immediately, bring me over there to the hospital so we can see what's going on immediately. I wanted the world to be on pause because I saw the blood. But I think we all think that way. But now we see, and I know better now, that modern medicine doesn't work that way. So that is why I'm very grateful that I had my doctor's appointment when I did. But I really, really, really wanted them to be as urgently concerned as I was, because I was just like, I need to see you immediately because there's spotting from the 7th to the 14th. So I just also want to say that I was thinking, again, I'm looking at my notes, I was thinking that I wonder if my appointment was in June, would my doctor have pushed for me to have an earlier appointment? I do have an upcoming appointment for my annual with her. And I said, I wonder if I should ask her that. So I think I might ask her that, and if she gives me a good answer, or whatever answer she gives me, I'll post it here. And then it made me think too, if my friends hadn't passed from uterine cancer, if they hadn't passed from uterine cancer, would have been as pressed to see the doctor. I would have told my doctor yes, but would I have been as pressed, because I'm in my mind, I probably would have thought, well, this is one of those things where women get pregnant later in life that you always hear about, the oops baby someone had late in life that they wasn't expecting, right? So, it just almost made me think about the what ifs in life, but I don't have to think about the what ifs because God aligned it, perfectly well, that my doctor's appointment was, was when it was, right? And this is why I strongly again agree. And I probably will say this in every video because I know people don't go to the doctor, people don't make your appointments. When I'm at the doctor's office, I try to make the next appointment if I can. If not, I go through the portal and make an appointment. It's so important to have these appointments on your schedule, put it in your calendar, post it on the wall, wherever you might be. It's just so important for us to get checked out, everybody. Okay. I just really want us to do that. I really want to say that too, that I don't like going to the doctor. Surprise, right? I'm not a hypochondriac. I don't want to go to the doctor every time that something happens to me, but I think it's necessary. I think it's important. We have health insurance, which is a whole nother conversation, but you should definitely go see your doctors. Have I said that enough during this video? I just think about it, earlier, if you saw me get a little emotional, just thinking about it, how I'm so grateful that I did have that appointment, because I don't know if I would have called right then and there what her schedule would have been like. She's pretty busy and in high demand as well. And every time I get an opportunity to talk about health, I always, liken us to the car. Our car always sends us signals when something is wrong and we need to make a appointment with the mechanic. So the same thing should be there for our bodies. When our bodies is sending us a signal, it's time for us to go get that checked out and see what's going on, because we don't want to get to a point where, we've ignored it so long that the car just have like conked out on us, and we've ignored our body so long that it just kind of has conked out on us as well. And I'm not trying to scare you or anything like this. I'm just really trying to make the plea and the encouragement for you to go see the doctor, make that appointment, and then also for us to have the conversation with our daughters, with our sisters, with our nieces, with all the women in our lives, to really start talking about this. Because as I mentioned in the last video, they say that uterine health concerns is on the rise, and it is especially affecting African American women and young women. So we have so many young women in our lives that we really need to go ahead and get the message out of there. So this is getting pretty long, but I just want to say, please feel free to share this video or any videos I post. Continue to give me comments and testimonies and encouragement. I really appreciate that. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. I was like dancing almost. And even a notification bell so that, when I post videos, you'll know about them. So I'm going to stop here, but in the next video, I'm going to begin to share with you what happened when I went to my doctor's visit. I just wanted to talk about symptoms and what my symptoms were, and hopefully that can be a baseline if you're having any kind of symptoms as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. Take care. And until next time, enjoy your day.